Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the INCRadio chat line, where we have conversations that matter. And a conversation that matters is whose words affect you, especially when it comes to relationships. Like you probably know this person. It could be an aunt, an uncle, a friend. Or even I would say even just someone older who like a coworker maybe who like
A
they kind of
coworker?
yeah like I mean, do you have like any coworkers that you're kind of like close to?
Yeah, but I don't know that I would let a coworker influence my unless we became friends outside of work. But
Oh
just
yeah,
if
that's what
we
I
just
mean, like
strictly if we just strictly get along well as coworkers and
mm.
I don't know if I want you having input on
Oh yeah,
my
that's what I mean,
relationship.
like you probably experience like I would assume that someone in our chat probably has experienced that, or like maybe someone they're closest older like
I do
giving
want to bring that
advice.
up because I want to give a shout out to PJ because he put this in the comment section. I'm sorry, I totally forgot your last name, PJ, but he put that in our
Pinta?
comment section. In the comment section. Oh, is that what it was? I
I
don't know,
think
but he
so,
put it.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, he put it in our comment section a few episodes back, requesting for this topic. Because if you didn't catch our series for this month of that we've been doing relationships. So one of the topics that he was requesting was, who do you let your friends? I feel like it was more angled towards friendships. Like, do you let your friendships influence your relationships? But I think it's
Mhm.
like the scope of everything, like what you brought up, like your uncles, how much of your extended family has input on your relationships. I don't know. It's a good thought.
You probably heard someone that says, "Oh, I'll introduce you to someone," like that, things like that. But yeah, like for you, Tony, since we kind of reached that subject already, like for you, like who would you say is like has a big influence, like in terms of
Um,
like uh their comments affecting how you kind of like consider relationships.
for sure, my close friends, and not. I'm trying to be careful with the way I say this because I feel like I'm close to everybody, but but my friendships where I I know I can feel that they know me on a deep level, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Because we have friends that we kind of encounter in different aspects of our life. We're connected through different things, right? I do have coworkers who are friends, but to the level that they know me and being able to get an opinion on them about a person, I feel like for me personally, they would have to know me really well. Not just the good qualities that they see about me, but also the not so good qualities that they know about me. And that's not necessarily measured in time,
Mhm.
just maybe in situations that we've seen each other through, that kind of thing, where they know the good and bad with me. So to kind of give input on a potential relationship or even a relationship I'm already in, it would have to be somebody for me that knows me pretty well, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Same goes for family, same goes for just anybody that's in my life. they have
I
to
like how
they have to
you
genuinely know me.
I like how you said, you mentioned, like not just the good things about you, but even like the not so good things about you. Not just your positive sides, but your flaws as well. Because they'll be like, like especially if they know you and they know the other person, they can be like, okay, like on this thing, you two might not get along so well. Like your values when it comes to this thing might not align. So
Right,
they're
yeah,
like, okay, yeah, that's just something for you to consider, if you want a relationship with like this person,
for
like
sure.
they know, they know. Well, you guys might not get along so well on this side, but that's something you can compromise on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I want to extend that question to like our to everyone there in the chat. Like who, like to you, who has like kind of like a big influence on your this. I would say on your decisions in general. I mean, I would say I feel like for me, family has a lot more sort of like
Wait.
influence, like weight. Like it has a lot more weight when it comes to like the relationships, but or like how I consider relationships. But that's I guess that's just because like the way I grew up, like with my family, it's uh like I would say my aunts, my uncles, they're kind of like second parents to me.
Right.
We kind of
I can see
grew
that.
up like close knit, so uh like I I consider their comments, like I would like I wouldn't just kind of like you don't know her like I do. You don't know her like I don't know. It's not like that. Like I don't go like that when they're like okay like I want to hear what you have to say, or like if they've already met the person, like like
Has that
what are
happened?
your thoughts?
Has that happened? Have they volunteered? Do they make what kind of comments though? Is it passing comments like, "Oh, she's cute," or "I think you look good together," or that kind of thing? What kind of
I
comments
think
have you
there
heard?
was one time there was one time where like we were watching like a drama on TV, and like I guess I felt emotional at the moment, and I said like my crush's name. And the number of like questions that I heard from my aunts was like, "Ooh, who is that?" Like, oh no, it's like please, I just want to leave. Because they was like, "Ooh, who is that? Whose name did you mention?" But like I would say, even like more recently, and they asked me if I like someone, and like when I told them who, they were like their comments, and this is just quoting one of them. She told me, I always like she was like, I had a feeling, like she was like, I had a feeling, and like they're I feel they're more lax with me now because before they're like, oh, you have to, like get someone who's gonna take care of you, who's rich if possible. That's always under consideration. They're like, okay, like you should be able to, but they're kind of like the thing that they want to focus is like that you can take care of each other. You're not you're not gonna financially burden each other. That's kind of their point in that. But it's kind of like the stuff that they were telling me before. But now it's just if it makes you happy.
Interesting. Do
You
you
know?
do you think that's because you're older now and they're just more they're
I would
less
say yeah.
strict?
Yeah. I feel like that might be it. Even my mom now. Like even my mom, she's her approach now is like, like you're grown up, you're mature. You already know, like what you want. You know what you want and you know what you need. That's kind of like the sort of like what I'm getting from her. Of course, I would still have to check with her if I were to ever get into a relationship. I would still have to check that with her first.
Hmm.
Just and I mean, even if I didn't need to, I would still would just out of respect. To my parents, I still would uh, introduce them first. Like this is, like this is who I like. Like I always tell my mom, especially like if I have a crush on someone, I always tell my mom first. Like just like, and this is my mom would always be like she would come with me to school and she's like, oh, like point her out to me. I want to see who. It was always embarrassing. Man, I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here, but
No, I mean that's just honest. That's just honest conversation. My mom, in terms of if we can call it quality control, I feel like our
Mhm.
parents are always that first line of defense, or
Yes.
first line, last line of defense. I don't know, but they're definitely that person that knows you more than a lot of other people do. You're good and bad for sure. So I can always
Mhm.
rely on my mom to kind of give me a a good gauge for the most part whenever I tell her like, "Oh, this is like so and so is someone that I'm interested in," or "What do you think?" I'll just say, "Oh, what do you think about?" this person. Then she'll tell me, and she's not the type. What I love about my mom is that she's not the type to sugarcoat things. She
Mhm.
doesn't just say things to please me or to boost my ego, like artificially. If she's
Mhm.
genuinely proud of me, she will tell me. Or if she genuinely thinks something is good for me, she will say that, but she won't say it for the sake of saying something, just airless words. So I appreciate that about
Mhm.
her. And I feel like that's true for a lot of the other relationships that I have in my life. I don't want people to tell me things that I just want to hear, or, that they think will just appease me. I appreciate when there's that mutual respect of, this is something that I know that makes me happy and they can be accepting of that. But also, I appreciate the perspectives too. I think
Mhm.
that's what it is. But I do have one thing that I want to ask you, EJ, because this is something that makes me uncomfortable,
Mhm.
because I've been on the end of it where I didn't necessarily like the other person that they were saying. In Filipino, for those who are not Filipino watching this broadcast, there's a thing called when people will say, "Oh, bagay kayo," and so I
I
guess
mean, the English translation for that would be shipping. Like they're shipping you
yeah,
guys.
yeah, they're just like, "Oh, you guys look good together," or "You guys like
Mhm.
match." But then sometimes you don't really, you're not really feeling the vibe that
Yeah.
same way, and sometimes it can kind of get into this level of like pressure, where you feel like
Mhm.
you have to live up to that thing. It's like, oh, and then you kind of get lost in it, and then you're just like, oh, maybe I do like this person, and then it gets so heavily influenced that way. I feel like it's
Mhm.
so it gets like kind of performative. This is a term that I've seen rise up on social media. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Where
I laughed because I heard that term
I
a
am not,
lot.
I'm what's the term? I'm not chronically online. I mean, I am chronically online sometimes, but not to the level
Mhm.
that some people are, where
You're
people
aware of
are.
like the terms, right? Yeah.
No, this just came up recently, where I've heard of like being performative, like performative. I'm like, okay, I didn't look too into it, but if I could describe this in that way, it's kind of like that, where
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes we get, like with social media, sometimes people will get influenced by that idea of like, oh, couple goals, and you
To
see
fit the
these
narrative,
things,
right?
yeah, just because other people are making comments, or they're like putting input on all those things. I feel like that's why I'm kind
Mhm.
of more private when it comes, which everybody is free to do whatever they want. Like if you want to post about your relationship on your social media, that's your social media. But on the other end of it, it's like it's going back to the only thing that you can see is, well, why are you doing it? Like, why
Yeah.
are you doing it to be performative? Are you doing it to kind of get everyone to be like, oh, your relationship is like the best, saying all those
And
things.
that's happened to me, Tony, where like it wasn't my family, it was my friends actually. Like they were like kind of like the ones who were like uh like you like they're funny way like you and like her, like you guys look good together.
Yeah,
And I think she kind of took it uh like she was influenced by that comment,
yeah,
you know, where she started thinking like, yeah, we look good together. But I don't think that she really like, like she really liked me. It was probably because we didn't really talk before, like someone said that, you know. And I feel like she started showing interest like more after like someone said that. So, and for me personally, like I remember this is like I was in fifth grade, so
oh
like
wow.
like my brain is still on video games,
Still
on
developing.
video games, on pogs, on
Not
like
fully
like
developed.
cards, like the cards from like this popular show or cartoon. like like
Yeah.
my mind was it was all on like games and stuff. So I was like, no. It's like when there's a like I just went no. No, but like I've seen that happen to like someone, like what you were saying earlier, where uh like someone's comment can influence them in that way, where they kind of
Yeah.
feel like they have to fit the narrative now, and they don't even, I feel like sometimes you don't even notice it, like they're fitting into that narrative of or no, that they don't even like their person. It's just like they feel like they have to meet the expectation of like this person that they look up to.
Yeah.
Like let's say an aunt, an uncle, a friend, where they're like, I have to kind of like you kind of get the feeling of like you're happy, not because of like like the person that they are shipping with, but like you're happy because you can see that person you admire is like happy, like that parental figure or like brotherly figure or sisterly figure that you look up to, like you see them happy because so you kind of feel like you have to do this right? You have
Yeah.
to meet their expectation performative like
Mhm.
like what
Yeah.
you I don't know what you've
I don't know if
said.
that's what that actually means. If there are people who are watching, like, is
I
that
mean,
what
I know
performative is?
what the term is used for, but if you think about the definition of performative,
It
that's what
sounds,
it is.
yeah, it sounds to be that way, especially with the whole hard launching thing that I know that's been something hard launch versus soft launch in terms of showing who your like revealing who your significant other
Yeah,
is. I feel like there's so much into that, and
being
that's, I
vague
guess,
versus like.
yeah, and I guess that's why for me, again, everybody's free to do what they want on social media, but just kind of
Mhm.
being aware of like why you're doing it. I feel like that's why I going back to what I said earlier in terms of the people that I do actually seek approval from when it comes to my relationships. It's people that I know that my significant other will have to deal with. Like you are going to have to deal with my best friends. So their opinion and what they think, being able to hear their perspectives on it, it won't be the end all and be all, of course, but I do value their opinion because we're going to
Mhm.
be connected with each other in some way. Like
Like, is that how
we're,
you know how you filter like how you filter or like kind of like decide like your relationships?
yeah, it's definitely a factor. I won't say it's the end all and be all because at the end of the day, when it comes to relationships, you are going to be the person that's going to be spending the most
Yeah,
time with that other
yeah.
person. So you better like the other person, like for who they are and for however you get along, whatever your commonalities are. It shouldn't be because of what everybody else is saying. But there is a
Mhm.
point too, I think, where outside influence does help, especially let's say if you get into there's some kind of misunderstanding. Getting perspective, I think, helps a lot of the time.
Mhm.
Like you shouldn't base everything that your decision on what other people are going to be telling you, but it does help to get that perspective because sometimes your friends might point out to you like, hey, I think you're the one wrong in that situation, like hello. But
Like, have you considered this?
yeah, have you considered that maybe you are wrong? Like, yeah, and sometimes we need that. It's nice to have that alternate perspective. Of course, it's still going to be between you and your significant other and how you go about resolving it. But the other
Mhm.
perspectives do help. I think that's where friendships, good, like solid friendships, that that they're your core people. They know who you are, and you share the same values. It does help. Same thing with like your parents,
So
family.
yeah, especially with parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would say out of like everyone, like I always take like my parents, like their comments and their opinions, especially on like relationships. I take that like out of like everyone else's most seriously. Like because like because I'm with you there with like this is like I'm going to be the person that has to spend the most, like the most time with them. So like like it has to be something that I can live with. Like if I make a decision, it has to be something that I can live with. If my friends will be like, well, I'm not happy with that decision. I mean, I'm sorry, but like it's like for you, this is just going to be maybe a short portion, of your time, of your life. But for me, like especially if I'm considering a partner, it's like this is gonna be like my 24/7. you know, like so it has to be my decision as well. In the end, and I think like that's something that my parents said. I just can't remember when they told me this, but I think that's something that they have told me as well. It's like at the end of it, if you're like, let's say, like, because they were talking in the context of like marriage, they're like, you're gonna have to be the one to live with them. It's like, this is going like, it has to be something that you can live with. Like, that's what they want me to consider before like I go into a relationship. It's like, you're gonna have to be the one to be with them for like spend a lot of time with them. So you gotta, this is gonna be something that you can live with. And that's kind of like what I've sort of hold on to when it comes to like filtering and deciding, like whose opinion to listen to. It's like, okay, I'll hear you out, but I can't guarantee you that I'm gonna listen to what you're saying or that I'm gonna follow what you want me to do. Like, I might consider it, I might find a compromise for it, but I'm not, like, at the end of it, it still has to be my it still has to be my decision. And I'm the same way when I'm the one giving my opinion, when I'm the one giving my 2 cents. Right? It's like, I always end it with, but that's just my like, that's just my opinion. Like, I still remind them, it has to be a
Disclaimer.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be a decision that you can live with. Because I don't want you to make this decision and then you go back at me like, like, you made me do this. It's like, no,
Yeah,
I told you
don't
could do
want that
this.
response.
I told you could do
It's
this,
just
but
a perspective. It's
yeah.
just perspective. But I will say though, when it comes to maybe considering potential relationships, like,
Mm,
oh, have you thought about so and so? Like, they are available. Like, are you like that stuff is also okay too. I feel like
yeah.
when proposing different ideas, like, hey, did you think about this person? They're really, really nice. Like, I'm okay with that stuff too. That stuff is
Mhm.
more, because that's just the beginning. That's nothing
Yeah.
like super heavy handed. It's just like, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
And I've seen have at it. I've seen like uh I thankfully have never been in that situation, but I've seen where like they're like, you guys should sit together, like, and then like they kind of just have them sit together so they would kind of like be forced to like kind of talk again. It usually ends awkwardly for both people. So like, I would say, don't be heavy-handed with it. If you think partnering someone up looks good, say it, but don't force it. Say it, but don't force it. Don't kind of put them in an awkward situation. Like, you just be like, hey, I've noticed so and so pays a lot of attention to you, or something like that. Like, have you considered, like, maybe, like, if I'm talking like my friends, like, have you considered maybe she likes you? Yeah, or something like that. Like, because I know how dense I can be, and I've had moments before, like, where I would look back to something like a few years back, and I'm like, I guess maybe so and so like me. I just never noticed it. So I don't want that for like other people, for other guys, because I know sometimes we can be
Yeah.
dense. So I'm like, hey, have you considered maybe so and so likes you?
That's where friends do come in handy. Be like, you literally tell them, I'm pretty sure they were trying to flirt with you. Like, oh, really? I didn't know.
You can be dense
thanks,
sometimes. Yeah.
thanks for the heads up. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
would
who's
say that's the
next?
extent. Yeah, that's the extent of me trying to introduce like someone. That would be the extent. I'm not the type to go. I think I think you guys look good together. Like, I'm not the type to say that, but I'm gonna be the type where if I notice something, I will say something like, "Hey, have you like that seems special?" Like that
Yeah.
conversation, it seems special.
Huh.
Maybe you should go
Yeah,
talk to
like
her.
that. Yeah, that moment
Yeah.
seemed kind of, I don't know, something to consider. Yeah.
Yeah, I am the type to do that. Like, yeah. So I guess we talked, like how we take it and how we give it. Yeah. But for you guys there in live chat, like, how do you do it? Like, I want to hear. The live chat would be closed after this link ends, but I'm pretty sure that the comment section is still open afterwards. So you can still put it there. You can still put your answers there, or if you want, you can also put a suggestion there of like whatever topics you want to hear us talk about, relationships, food, whatever you find interesting. Because again, we're talking about conversations that matter, and the things that matter is, I would say it's subjective, right, to everyone. So we want to know what's like the conversation that matters to you. But we'll, I know we'll have to cut it off here, and we'll see you guys again next Friday. So we do hope you tune in with us again. Join us for another conversation that matters. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend and enjoy. Bye.
Don't underestimate
The power
of a single
Conversation.
it could change your whole life.
INCRadio Chatline.
conversations that matter.
Nagturo ng tunay na pagmamahal. Nakadama ng tunay na kaligayahan sa bawat kong pagngiti.